drawing gasps from the costumed guests below. Passing through the atrium into the garden, more flambeaux light the way. Aura, Nick, and the rest of their little group walk across the lawn to reach the marquee, almost as black as the night, and also covered in fake cobwebs. Zombies and ghosts jump out to give the guests a minor fright as they arrive, prompting squeals of both delight and terror. Later, these ghouls will be part of a show created especially for this party. Thea doesn't want her guests presented with something they may have seen before. Certainly not. Seb and Chloe, dressed as a devil and a cat respectively, and carrying a camera and sound boom, follow Aura and Nick. Helen trails afterwards, feeling somewhat exposed in a sexy nurse's uniform, which has been customised for the occasion with fake blood and ripped fishnet tights. She is carrying Bay, who is dressed as an adorable pumpkin. Little Sorrel, in his favourite Spider-Man costume, which he is rarely allowed to wear, trots alongside, holding her hand tightly. The children are wide-eyed and breathless. They've never seen such drama and spectacle before. Aura is secretly pleased with her witch costume, and Nick feels a little awkward, dressed in a black robe with a giant hood and carrying a huge scythe, death itself. A young woman dressed as Mary Poppins, but with the addition of zombie makeup, not too much though so as not to scare the little ones, spots the children and accosts Helen, showing her where to take them. One corner of the garden has been set up as the children's area, with a haunted house bouncy castle and a small marquee kitted out as a playroom for the evening. Inside there are several similarly dressed nannies, a low table shaped like a coffin with silver-coloured plastic crockery already laid out, and a darkened area with cots for sleeping. Inside the cots, the fleecy blankets are pumpkin orange with printed black spiderwebs, and the tiny pillows are small, padded, ghostly figures. Everything has been thought of. It wouldn't be quite true to say that all of the voices are British. There are American accents, some Dutch, and a smattering of German and Italian. And while no one is speaking French, you can catch the odd hint of a French accent here and there. Thea doesn't speak French, so to be admitted into her circle, you have to speak English. She hasn't got round to learning the language. She hasn't felt she's needed to as yet. There are around 200 guests. Many of them, like Aura and Nick, have been invited because they live in other chateaux in the area. Thea assumes that if someone lives in a chateau like she does, they'll probably be her type of person. So far, she hasn't been too far wrong, but obviously, that can change. The rest of the people here are the best of the other expats that Thea's found so far. Some retired bankers, a few creative types such as wedding photographers and musicians, some families with high-flying husbands commuting back and forth, and usually unambitious wives staying put in the countryside with the kids. A disproportionate number of retired policemen. It's not quite the crowd she would have chosen for herself, but most of them are okay in their way, or at least useful to her in some way or another. Dinner is a huge success. A hog roast is always a crowd pleaser, even if a little redneck for Thea's tastes. She's endowed it with more class by having it served by waiters at the long table set out on the lawn. Buffets are so déclassé, Thea thinks, to follow the massive seafood platters created from the raw ingredients brought in from Brittany this morning. It's so important that seafood is absolutely fresh. She wouldn't want to take any risks. To accompany the roast, there are exquisite salad creations placed in the middle of each table, designed by a food artist she had a brief affair with in London, and recreated by a small catering company from the local town. They're not quite as good as the real thing would have been, but impressive enough, Thea thinks. She is particularly pleased with the dessert, which is a huge contrast to the rest of the meal.